where is your costume?
Yeah, that's not me. I'm not really.
Yeah, but you gotta dress up, man. I mean, like, why are you here? Look at me. I'm wearing lederhosen.
Yeah,
dog.
I get it. I don't know. Van likes it. Where'd you go, though?
Yo, I got a spare mask in the whip.
I'm all right.
Sure?
I'm sure,
You look
man.
good in it.
I feel good like this. What the hell is that?
It's a Schnapfenhier. It's a Dean of Beef. Every Fashnacht, he steals something from one unlucky villager.
No way. You look so good. Oh. You look great. And I'm sorry.
Where's that mask you were talking about?
It's in the whip.
And now that it's over, I'll never be sober. I couldn't believe. And now I'm so high. And now I'm so high.
And what is happening, everybody? It is your boy Blake Money, Blake Weather. Welcome to another episode, Unfiltered Bachelor, the Atlanta Breakdown Series. Hi, I'm Money Blake Weather. Let's kick off with our co-host real quick, and before we do, just make sure you tell your friends to tell their friends so we can all be friends. Click like, share, post a review if you love Atlanta, and tell your friends that love Atlanta, hey, this is going on. My first co-host, I'm just going to pick at random, and I don't even know who I'm going to pick. Actually, let's just kick it off. Our newest co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, balling on a budget, ATX, balling on a budget in the Mile High City. It is your friend, Terry. What's up, Terry?
What up, Blake? How's it going?
Man, you know, we killing the game, man. You know, we're staying corona free, all that good stuff. And then we have our other co-host. You know him, you love him, your guy on the fly, your neighbor with the flavor, or maybe you've seen him at 7-Eleven and he didn't want to stand next to you or shake your hand. It's Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Jeff, you shook your head like, yeah, that was probably me.
Dude, I was actually, I had to stop at a 7-Eleven the other day, and fucking everyone's like standing right next to each other, and I'm just looking around like, what the fuck is wrong with you idiots? No one other than me and the employees were wearing masks, and I was losing it.
Nope, I don't like that.
Oh, it's such a different story here in Denver. Everybody wears
You guys are
masks.
smart.
Everybody stays away from you. You know, it's beautiful.
Jeff was doing
You
that.
know, and plus there's cannabis.
Jeff was
Even
doing that before it was
corona
cool.
free, that sounds like a dream. Stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah, Jeff was doing that before it was cool. Guys, we are on episode number 4, season 2, Helen. What an awesome episode. I like this episode for a lot of reasons. We'll get into all of those, I'm sure. Jeff, before we get started, let's do the inaugural IMDb facts, points, kick us off. How was this ranked? Who directed it? What's the trivia?
Well,
what do we got?
First and foremost, this is 8.0. It's the second lowest rated episode this season. We've got 3 pieces of trivia. The first is Zazie Beetz is of German descent in her real life. Her father is German, and the actress was actually born in Berlin. She's also fluent in German, as depicted in this episode.
Yeah.
This episode title refers to a Bavarian-themed town in the state of Georgia, Helen. And I'll come back to that. And then this one's a bit longer, but I think it's actually going to shed a lot of light on what I think is an integral part of the episode.
Yes.
The initial dialogue between Van and Ben goes as follows. After Ben asks, "What can I get you?" Van says, "A round of beer, please, for the group back there." Ben then asks, "You speak German?" To which Van replies, "Yeah, but just me." Ben asks, "He doesn't?" To which, obviously referring to Ern. To which Van replies, "No, he doesn't speak German." Ben then jokingly says, "Okay, it'll be our secret language then," resulting in Van laughing. Ern laughs too, and then Van asks him in English if he understood it, which he says he didn't. Ben then says, "He doesn't speak German at all?" Van says, "No, nothing. He doesn't understand it either." Ben then asks, "Why is he wearing such a stupid mask?" And somehow Ern recognizes that because he goes, "Mask, perhaps?" Van then replies, "Well," resulting in Ben saying, "Right, except you." Van then says, yes, just bought it recently. And you? And are those real lederhosen? Ben says, yes, those are real lederhosen. Anyway, at which point Ern breaks into the conversation. And it ends with, after Ern breaking into the conversation, Van says sorry to Ben, to which Ben says, it's okay.
Yeah. That is.
I know that's obviously a long and ridiculous thing, but I do think it is important later on. And the director of this is Amy Seimetz.
Yes. Perfect. Well, Terry, kick us off with your 3 takeaways from this episode. I like all those. I feel like all that trivia is nice, and I wanted to know. I didn't know what the score was, so it's interesting to see it's just an 8.0. But Terry, 3 takeaways or 3 top things.
3 top things. It's probably going to be some of you guys. Number 1, hootz-kootz. Who didn't love the game of hootz-kootz?
Oh, that shit was great. Yeah.
I mean, I play that shit all the time, and Ern's just a natural. I haven't seen anyone play hootz-kootz since like the early '90s. When the great German Sieg Zeifler just dominated the hootz-kootz. I don't know what the hell hootz-kootz is. That's not a real thing.
Bro, I'm 45% German, and I've never fucking heard of it before. You're good.
Then after that, I'd have to say just that creepy dude when they're playing ping pong. Like, I had to rewatch that episode over and over and pay attention to the scenes, but I just never see him at all until Ern calls him out. And I was like, no, that guy wasn't there. How was he there? I didn't see him. Did anyone else see him?
So he's in the background of hootz-kootz.
Oh, that's interesting.
and I mean the background. Like, there's the entire crowd around them cheering hootz-kootz on, and then way behind all them is creepy babyface mask dude.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good eye sniper.
Creepy as shit. It's just because it's on right now.
All right.
It's really not.
And number 3, I'm trying to think. I'm watching the episode now, trying to figure out what the parts that really just stood out to me. There's not a lot of quick ones, but I mean, just the whole festival itself, it stands out to me. And for the past 5 years, I was living in New Braunfels. Where,
nice little German town.
That is a nice little German town, and every year they have their little beer fest, and it becomes the whole German thing. And everyone's wearing lederhosen, and it's weird, man. I don't like it.
And everyone's playing hootz-kootz.
Yeah, they might as well be.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Everyone's a hootz-kootz.
Everyone hootz-koot and boogie. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Nice. Make it even wider somehow.
You're welcome, world. I want to go ahead. I want to do this. I'm going to go next. So the festival. So I nerded on this episode a bit because I was like, man, what is this? What the fuck is that? I found out the festival in Helen is not real. So don't go looking for it. Don't go to Helen, Georgia, and be like, I'm here for hootz-kootin and lederhosen and all this shit.
There goes my road trip.
Well, you could go to Wurstfest. Wurstfest is the name of it in New Braunfels. They can go to that. It's kind of the same.
It's very similar. Yes, it's very similar. Then I love the arc of Van and Ern's relationship, sort of the up and down, because we'll get into it, but it immediately starts with you're like, whoa, I haven't seen something like this in the episode before. And then it just ends with oh, they done with. And then we also have the stealing element built in, the robbing element built into this episode, right? Like with that little Schnapperhauser Weisen guy or whatever the fuck that little wolf thing is.
Yeah.
He steals. The whole point is that motherfucker steals. And this is robbing season. I love the tie-in.
And the funny thing is, they're in the German town at the German festival, and they make it the robbery as white as they possibly can.
It's the whitest robbery ever.
It's stealing a part of an ancient German festival at that.
And they steal somebody's iPhone. It doesn't get more whiter than that, I promise. All right, Jeff, kick us off. You're 3.
All right, so my 3. 1, Dave's back.
Yes.
And he's actually not an asshole in this one. In this one, he's actually being super sweet for his girlfriend. It's a stupid damn festival they're at, and he knows it's stupid. He's like, but you know what? She likes it, so I'll do it. Surprising, considering, the last time we saw...
He's the N-word guy.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, yeah.
Super duper is. 2, so Ern clearly is... Ern's kind of a shitty boyfriend in this one, but Van's also kind of a shitty girlfriend in this one. And it's interesting, especially the Ern part's even more interesting because Ern's clearly the hero in the whole Atlanta storyline and everything. So it's really odd seeing an episode where like the hero's just not the good guy, really. But at the same time, I think like Van also gets unreasonably mad at him during things like, for instance, for hootz-kootz. She's clearly pissed at him for doing the, just taking the balls and putting them in the milk jug or whatever. But she never explained how to play the fucking game.
Right.
So why are you mad at him? And then last was actually the title of the episode. While it's named Helen for the city it's supposedly in, which I don't know if Helen, Georgia is a real city even, but I thought it was also a nod towards Helen of Troy. The face that lost 1,000 ships and the woman that causes this whole war. And, well, I mean, like, this is kind of the war that ends Van and Ern's relationship. And a part of it is the dude, Ben, the bartender, is clearly hitting on Van right in front of Ern, but just in a different language. And so I also thought that was a bit of it, too. Nice.
All right. Way to take it deep.
I like my mythology, man.
And it wouldn't be
in case I wasn't white enough before.
It wouldn't be the first time that some sort of Greek mythology was introduced, right? Remember, like I think it was the episode of The Club, right, where he called the bartender some sort of name, right, that you had looked up.
Oh yeah.
I forget what the name was,
but it was one of the goddesses. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be the first time. Now I want to point out something. This is the first and only time so far we've seen anything sexual between Van and Ern, or anything like remotely sexual that doesn't have to do with the strip club, like sex between characters, in this whole entire series so far, which I thought was...
And it was pretty sexual, too.
Yeah, Ern going downtown.
It wasn't like
Ern was
the typical, like, you roll off the girl and then both of you have the blankets over everything, like,
right.
No. He was neck deep in that rug.
Trivia for the music is that the name of that song while he's doing that act is called At Sea Again.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's a good title for a song while you're, eating out your lady and you're going at sea again.
Right?
And
it's performed by Slime.
Wow. Wow. What a perfect...
Yeah. So,
what a perfect song.
in case you're wondering.
But yeah, it's the only time I think we've seen anything remotely like that, especially between these two characters, which makes it, for my money, even more powerful. Because it's like, and the episode starts off that way, and it's, I just thought it was like, and you know what, to be honest, I had never caught it, maybe because I'm like looking away at the beginning of the episode sometimes. I had never caught it till today. I was like, oh, dang. And it's all above, like, they're all freaky too. They're above the sheets and shit. They don't even give a fuck. Like, so anyways, right? I thought that was very interesting.
Wrapping her leg around his head and shit.
Yeah, he's down there. Hopefully he brought a snorkel with him. He needs to breathe. But I also love too in this episode,
and hopefully the weed loosens up his tongue game, right?
Speaking of weed, I'll get to that just right after this point because I want to point out something with the weed. But I love the horror elements of this episode. Like, so many horror elements, so many scary bits. In almost every episode in this season, it feels like it has a little bit of scariness to it. Right? Like,
when did this one come out? Was this in October?
No, it came out like in March of 2018, I think.
March. That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's very... I was reading into this, and it was very influenced by, like, Get Out, which makes absolute sense.
Yes.
Because it's this white dude kind of in this, or the black dude in kind of this white world of like, what the fuck, and it just feels really eerie. In every episode, though, I think it's had a kind of eerie element to it, right? You got like the alligator you don't see until the alligator comes out in the first episode.
Fucking alligator man.
And the last,
just the standoff with the cops too. That's kind of unsettling. The cops are like right there outside, waiting for you to come out.
Yeah, it's definitely suspenseful. And even the last episode too, it felt like something out of the racism. Felt like something out of Twilight Zone, because no matter where Ern goes, like it's never normal. You know what I mean? Even when he's in the strip club,
which is also interesting because both Twilight Zone and Get Out, Jordan Peele.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, the new school Twilight Zone, even, but yeah, it feels like an episode. It feels like an episode like that. Just real horror elements. Got the scary monster that steals things. You even have Ern wearing a Jason mask. Like there's a lot of little bits that just kind of like. It just feels eerie, the whole fucking episode from top to bottom. But yeah, that was just my takeaway with that. Also, the weed thing, to Jeff's point, at the beginning of the episode, we see Van smoking, and at the end of the episode, we see Ern smoking in the same exact position. Very, I don't know, very strange, considering Van was never really, she didn't really smoke much until like she lost her job. So,
or we just don't see her smoking much.
Right. But now we do. And I thought that was a very interesting element to add in there.
Real quick on the horror element, because I just noticed this because, like, as we always do, we've got it playing in the background. Dude, there's a chick in the background when Van's talking with her friend and Flo's husband and them. There's a chick in the background wearing, like, a half bunny mask. Like, it just starts at her nose and goes up.
Oh, yeah.
That is straight out of a horror video game called BioShock.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that was just a really cool thing.
Yeah, everything just looks creepy.
Just all the masks are like, is it like Halloween time around there? Because, like, a lot of the masks are horror-based. They all look like demons and stuff. Right?
It absolutely that crying baby dude is creepy as shit.
That fucking scary shit.
That's the worst one. Because it looks like a. Oh, there.
Well, you know what it is? It's that he doesn't have the rest of the crying. He doesn't have the rest of the baby costume. It's just the face, and then on top of that, you see his creepy blonde crackhead beard coming out the bottom of the mask too.
Yeah, it's fucking scary. And I think so that we have the horror element, and then we have Terry, and I don't know, like, if it made me feel uncomfortable, but like I can only imagine how Van and Ern felt being the only black people basically in this like all white, and they're all making them like the center of attention, like really strangely. Like it doesn't feel comforting at any point in time. Like the welcome to that white lady walking up to Ern thinking like it's paint.
Oh my God. That part right there. Oh my God, a costume. She just fucking licks her finger, just shoves it right in his face just to rub it off. I was like, first of all, you clearly didn't know this guy. Why would you want to go up to him and rub off his costume like that? If it was a guy in costume, why would you try and rub it off?
Right.
That's a dick thing to do right there.
Made it even worse because he's a real black guy.
Yeah, it made it even worse. You should keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, let's also be honest. I don't care how good you are with makeup. You're never going to do it that good. Blackface
That's why she had
very obvious.
Oh, man. Yeah. There's a strong race element, though, in here, though, because, like, everything, like, it seemed like the whole... I'm trying to find the best way to put this. Like, almost like they have...
Look at the talk between Dan and her girlfriend, even.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I keep forgetting her name. And I don't want to just refer to her as, like, Dave's girlfriend, but, like, even just talking about their childhoods.
Christine is her name, I think?
Christine, I think that sounds right. But even just talk about their childhoods and how Christine's like, well, you chose black. And it's like, what? And, I mean, like, that was incredibly racist, which is ironic because it's coming from a black girl.
Right. Right.
I don't know if ironic's the right term.
You know what? This is like one more thing to build on what we were talking about last season about Van's virtues of what all of her friends keep telling her, all these like bad stereotypical virtues. And this is like the third one. Because remember, the first one was, hey, become a high-end prostitute. That's really
Oh.
second one was, hey, marry a rich white man. That's always a good one. Third one is, hey, you're black, you chose black, just be a baby mama. Nobody expects anything more of you, and you look really good doing it. You can do it well.
Right.
And it's just like every episode with Van, she just meets someone or her friends just give her this terrible value of how she should be about herself. And it's been bad advice after bad advice of what she should do from her, like, her so-called friends, right? Because, you know, that was like her first homegirl who came into Flu. And then she was the one who knew the lady having the Juneteenth party. And now she's with another one of her friends, you know?
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's also, I like that you brought up the Juneteenth episode because I forgot about that for a second, which I don't know how you forget about Juneteenth, but
racism.
It feels like, yeah, that's very true. It feels like this is the dark version of the Juneteenth episode, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like the black folk are on display and everyone's just kind of watching them, but like you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Because everyone's wearing a mask and shit.
Yeah.
And at the whole ending, the march, the little parade there with torches and everything, I thought they were talking about Jews won't replace us on it in a second. It was scary. You're right. This is a scary episode.
It's a lot. I'm telling you, it's a lot of horror elements. Yeah.
It also had a feel to what's the movie? You're Next. I don't know if you guys know that one.
Yeah.
Where like the people in the animal masks are hunting the family, right?
Right.
Well, because when they realize Van's phone is stolen, like in the background, there's a bunch of people just wearing different animal masks. Like it's very. I think you guys are right. I think this is absolutely set up to be a horror movie-esque episode, which I love.
I think a lot of this season is like in different ways, different suspenseful episodes. Like Robin's season is no joke. And for the characters in this world of Atlanta, I think every fucking episode it turns into like, what is going to be suspenseful about this next thing I'm about to get into, and this whole world.
I feel like it's trying to get
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
I was about to say I feel like it's getting you into the suspense and anxiety of living in Atlanta during robbing season. Like you always got to be on your guard.
Yeah.
Be anxious. You got to be, and that's what these episodes are doing. It's like making like get ready for robbing season. We want you to feel what we feel, you know. But at least you don't have the danger. But still, we want you to get.
And even in
make you feel like.
Even in a place like this, right, where it's like it's a bunch of white people and they doing white people shit and they having like white people beers and they just being white people being white people, and it's like still you have to be on your guard. You ain't even safe here. And I think one of the things that I want to point out about this episode is now that I'm kind of piecing together like what y'all are talking about and stuff is the racism element of like they like put Earn and Van on display. Like they steal Van's phone. They make Van the person who wins the thing at the end of the day, right? The whole like the
warrior,
right? They put her on display. They like and maybe in good reason. Like I don't know the fucking game of hootz-kootz, but when Earn does the fucking move where he puts the fucking balls in there, and they're like, wait, how what the shit? Like how did you do that? You know what I mean? Like
were they? They were hardcore patronizing him there too, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
was having such trouble trying to figure it out.
Again, they could be, but if not, like it's almost like they are like saying like, "Oh my God, we've never seen anything like you." And
that's what I feel about it. It's the real reverse racism where when they see you as a black person, they would just go out of their way just to be extremely nice to you.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I feel like we were seeing. It was just like, hey, he just did some ordinary activity. Like, you know, any black person doing ordinary activity. Let's just fucking hype it up. It's so amazing that he's doing this. And it's like, calm down. I'm just a person, man. I want you to look at me as a person. You don't have to make a big deal about it.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly it, though. It's very much that. I like what that's called, reverse racism. Like, it's almost like, oh no, we've got to like just do all these things, and it's like, but bro, like that comes off so disingenuous, and it's scary. It's so reversed that it's scary, like in the opposite way.
Right, because like just the way they were talking, like we said, we can't really determine like were they really genuinely trying to be nice or were they just being dicks, and we can't tell. I was like, I really don't know.
Yeah, I that element was the one that like I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. You know what I mean?
And just at the beginning of the episode, you see them when they're walking around the town. There's a scene where they clip to the old ladies looking in the window, and they're just staring them down.
Oh, yeah.
There's that part.
So, real quick, I just did some quick research on the back end here. So, by the way, first off, I can't believe we didn't realize this, guys. It's Oktoberfest. So, it is Halloween time for them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But I just did some quick research. So evidently, according to, it said 2013, the black population of Germany was 817,000, and the overall population of Germany was 82 million.
Holy
Compare
shit.
that to the 37 million black population of America in 2018. So, yep, it might not be a far stretch to assume that, I mean, some German people may go their entire life without ever seeing a black person.
Holy shit, that's insane.
Well, I mean, I've heard that like there's areas in Russia where if a black guy walks down the street, like it could cause a car accident because people have never seen a black person before and they're staring so much. So like there are certain parts of not just the world, but still just Europe where, you know. And let's also be honest, I mean, the Holocaust wasn't all that long ago, and black people weren't exactly welcome in Germany during that time.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of them, a lot of black Germans are, U.S. born.
Yeah.
Well, their dads and moms U.S. born who were in the service.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
What's weird, when I went to Amsterdam, every single black person I ran into was German.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I thought that was so weird. Because I would go up to them, I'm trying to be, like typical black Americans when we see each other. We head nod and everything. These people didn't do it. And that's how I can tell, like, if I'm overseas.
That's how you can tell they're racist?
They're not from, if they're not from America. It's like, if you're a black person from America, you will do a head nod at me when I do it. But the German ones, they don't. And I was like, okay, you're from Germany. Because I would hear them talk, like, oh, you're from Germany, okay.
You know the nod. Oh, there's that.
I rewound. It's an American thing.
I rewound the episode. I saw the little babyface assassin back there. The hootz-kootz, and yeah, I just love how Ern is in that Jason mask when they start the hootz-kootz, and it looks so fucking creepy. But yeah, and I love how the fact too.
Evidently, France has the largest black population, which makes sense. France is like right across the sea from Africa. Then the UK, then Italy, then Belgium, Spain, and finally Germany.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay. But yeah, it's a lot of like little race nods in here, and I don't know. You know what I love even too that I noticed, and maybe like, this had to been purposely done. The mask that Ern wears, it's a Jason mask, right? So it's scary for one, but it's also white. Anybody? Anybody putting
and
it
his
together?
entire outfit's black. Yeah,
it's so fucking like what but it's almost like the symbolism we all know.
Yes.
The Gambino symbolism in here. It's almost like you have to have whiteface on in front of these people to feel comfortable. What about that?
Because
that's how
that girl just goes up, licks him on his damn face, and it's like I bet people, and it's just the sign. It's like if one person did it, so many other people are going to do it, and then he has to put on his white face. to blend in with them.
Well, that's why he even puts the mask on, is because he's like, they point out, like, if he doesn't put the mask on, everyone's going to keep thinking he's the quote unquote the Moore, that Van warned him about.
Right, the Moore character that they face paint, which is like, what in the fuck? But yeah, and
by the way, face paint is just such a sweet way of saying blackface.
That's facts. Okay.
Right.
I do want to get though to, I did make the point of the whole Van and Ern up and down. I want to elaborate on this because it is super important going forward, especially of like the relationship that these two have. And
right.
it's all come to a head at this point. Like, we know they're together, but they're not together. Like when you get somebody, but you don't really get them, got them. Like you play tag, but they not it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like the conversation they have at the end of the episode when Van asks Ern, "What do you want out of this relationship?"
Mm-hmm.
And they have very, very different answers. And by the way, here's the thing about their answers, because Van's answer.
Did you just combine Van and Ern?
I was doing some chip goals there. I was feeling them, and it really moved me. So, but she wants a full-on partner, which obviously that's great. Ern's happy with how things are, and that's fine too. But obviously, you can't. If you're in such different places, it's just not going to work together.
Right. And it's the expectation of like what each person wants out of the other person. And it's not until now that we find out really like why the two are with each other and like what are they expecting going forward. And I think it was like really I remember watching this the very first time, and like I think I teared up at that scene where they're playing ping pong at the very end and that Malika song comes on. And it couldn't have that couldn't have been it had to have been one of the most saddest moments I've ever seen from a TV show. Like up there with like Jeff, like for those that watch Dave, like on the 9th episode when Dickie's driving home. It's very sad.
Oh, Allie Molly.
The Allie Molly.
So, fun fact about that song, now that you brought it up.
I'm so glad you pulled this up. Thank you.
Which could explain Vern's answer. So the song is in Swahili.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the lyrics are, "Angel, I love you, angel."
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on to say, "I would marry you, angel. I am defeated by the bride price that I don't have."
Ooh.
And of course, in Swahili customs, in order to marry someone, you have to have like a dowry. Well, not a dowry that you would have, but a bride price that you have to pay to the father of the bride. So it's basically a song about saying, I want to marry you, but I'm just poor and I can't afford you. I can't afford the price you have, And I feel like maybe for Ern is that he doesn't feel like he's really solid into his career yet. He's not making enough money. He can't really support her like he wants to. So maybe he's just being mad and he's taking it out on her. But, secretly he's like, I'm just mad at myself and I'm mad that I can't, be a better provider for you. So I don't want to be married right now.
Right. No, I think that's I think that's exactly what it is.
I love that you pointed that out, because I think that's added in even with, there's one point in here where I think it's Ern and Christine, they're talking, but in the background is another song that really illustrates that point, Terry, where it's Kendrick Lamar's Love. And here's a chorus of it. If I didn't ride Blade on a curb, would you still love me? If I minimize my net worth, would you still love me? Keep it 100. I'd rather trust me than to keep it. I'd rather you trust me than to love me. Keep it a whole 100. Don't got you. I got nothing. And I think that really illustrates like what that song points out too, right? Like he just doesn't feel like maybe he's adequate enough to like be that for Van. Maybe that's
right,
it.
Exactly. So I mean, man, it's just these music songs, they're picked on purpose.
Yes,
they're not just because it's the new hot track that's coming out. They're
Right.
always picked on purpose.
Yes,
It's not like he's just. No, I was just basically going to say the same thing. It's not like he's just. Hey, this is the next hot guy. The next hot star. Let's promote him. No,
right.
It's all got meaning.
It's all got purpose, and even down to the line. Well, obviously, I mean, I think everybody should go through the scenes with Van and Ern to see like how just that their whole dynamic from the beginning of the episode to the end of it it splits apart. And even during the song Michaela, I love the beautiful scene when they're in bed, the visual when they're in bed and they're on opposite sides of the bed. I think that's phenomenal.
Right.
But one of the things I was going to point out was listen for all the little lines and stuff that pays off because, again, back to the race part of this episode, Van says, they think of me as the Serena Williams of this. Funny enough, she beats Ern in what we describe as table tennis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she dominates Ern. You know what I mean? So maybe there's some truth. Maybe there's some there's a reference to why they would call it. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm going a little deep with it, but I thought that was a funny nod to it. I love.
Well,
go
another
ahead.
thing. No, go ahead. No, come on. I talk too much. Go ahead.
No. It's your move, though.
I think it's also important to point out that while it's not huge or anything, I would describe Van's interaction with Ben, the bartender, as an emotional affair.
Ooh.
I mean, he's clearly flirting with her at the beginning, but then at the end when they're walking down the street or whatever, and they're talking about, and he's like, oh, when you go back to Germany, I've got a place for you to stay. And he's clearly fishing about, you and your boyfriend. He's clearly fishing to find out how they are because he saw them arguing at the bar. But then they end up talking about fucking love of all things. I mean, that's emotional cheating.
For sure. But it's not cheating because they're not together. Like Van and Ern aren't together. You know what I mean? Like she's
right. But I mean, she gets mad when she sees a picture of a girl on his phone.
We've never. Well, yes. We see jealousy, but we've never seen Van's move in front of Ern. Right? Like Van to be like, listen, I can do this. Two can play this game, and we see this in clear as day. And I think as much as Ern is 1 foot in, 1 foot out, she's ready to put 1 foot out at any moment. Like she is just ready to leave at any moment.
Right.
And
she hasn't done it yet.
Yes, and she just hasn't done it yet, and she just is ready for the confirmation that she, can go, and that confirmation is in the form of it's not even her. Like she doesn't even bring it up. Ern's like, I want to play you a game of ping pong, and if I win, like you're mine, and if not, fine, we'll break up. This is not her decision. Like she never wants to make this decision. This is really all
yes and no, because when we played at the end, she goes, if I win, you only come around if it has to deal with money or Lottie.
Right.
And she knew she was going to win.
Yeah, but I think she had her terms and conditions, but she just didn't start the game, right? Like I think she didn't. She was ready for what was on the other side. She just didn't want to get pushed to that point, I think is what I'm saying, if that makes any sense.
But was she playing seriously? That's the thing. Was she trying to make Ern play seriously?
Well, but so she wins. We know that she can win, I mean, from the game earlier. So if she didn't want to win, she could have thrown it. But she didn't.
But did Ern kind of throw it a little bit too?
Maybe.
And that's a question we never see.
I would like to say, in Van's defense, that she probably wasn't playing as hard as she could, and she was trying to see if Ern would play even harder because, if she won, if she beat him, then, he only has to come around for, some money or the baby.
Right.
Like, clearly, if he just wants that, he's going to let her win.
Right.
True.
So it's kind of like reverse psychology on him trying to figure out what he wants to do. But it could be the other way around too. Like
she told that little German boy, it's complicated. Like it's all complicated. And
why did Wydern have to go and make things so complicated?
Thank God for making Facebook. Thank God for Facebook just making that like publicly acceptable to be it's complicated.
I love. If I knew the more words, Jeff, I would quote Avril Lavigne like you did, but I don't know. Why you gotta go and make things so complicated?
Acting like you're somebody else.
Leaving me frustrated.
Leaves me frustrated.
Yeah, well, I guess I do know it.
Like this, yeah.
But yeah, man.
You break and you.
I think those are the.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop now.
I think those are the serious elements of this episode. It really does. The big themes are the focus on race still, and then the focus on Van and Ern's relationship, which this is a pivotal episode for that. I don't exactly know why it got an 8.0. I'd rate it a little bit higher, not much. Like I'd say even an 8.0. I'd rate it 8.4, maybe 8.5, because this is pivotal for even up till now. Like even if nobody else has seen the rest of these episodes in the season, this is one of the most pivotal moments with these two characters' love arc, and we've seen them at the highest of highs, and Ern really trying to make it work. To now, like I think they're just both fed up with it, and it took something like this being at an event like this, and I've been there, and like anybody that's been in a relationship with somebody, like you go and do things that you don't really fucking want to do, and I knew it was serious when like even Ern's like when he says the word fucking, like fucking I don't fucking want to do this, and like she's like, well fuck you, and he's like, well fuck you, like they did this whole exchange with the word fuck and fucking, and it's just like, bro, like y'all pissed off at each other, and it does something that fucking. This thing happens. That shit. This is for me. I was like, damn, that cut's real, bro. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed this episode. If only for that element. Of course, there was a whole bunch of funny bits in it. Any afterthoughts from anyone who wants to go first? Not everybody all at once.
So I mean, I would rate it obviously higher. I would rate it honestly. I would rate it like 8.5, 8.6. Yet one, because of exactly what you said, the Van and the relationship element, but also because I love the horror element in this.
Oh yeah.
And something that I just realized doing my the current watch through, like a horror movie, it also ramps everything up. And the way they do it in this sense is if you go back through, in the beginning there's no one wearing a mask. Then when they get in like the hall where the hootz-kootz and the ping pong and everything are, there's like only a few people in masks. And like not even like scary looking masks, just like all right, an animal mask here or there. But by the end, every single person's wearing a fucking mask. Like you can't see anyone's face. It's really creepy.
And it just gets darker and darker. Like the lighting gets darker and darker until you're fucking in an alley with a goddamn little schnappern Weissen fucker that steals your fucking phone. Terry,
demon thief.
The demon thief, the German demon thief. Terry, final afterthoughts, man, as we round this out.
Back to Van's friend. She just reminded me of Stacey Dash.
Oh yeah.
I chose white. And I was like, yeah, we know it, Stacey. Calm down. We don't like you. Yeah, it's just that's also one. How I was mentioning like stereotypical, just uppity black person. That's one right there. It was just her friend. Just I've heard people be like, I wish I had kinky hair like you. I was like, bitch, you were up at like 5 a.m. straightening your shit. You have kinky hair. What are you talking about? You're black.
Your hair's not supposed to look like that. It does, right?
So
yeah, that's a great. Oh, one more thing I did read before I forget as I'm watching this intune with the little schnapp. I'll just call him the little schnapper. Apparently, the dude whoever dressed up like that started doing this little silly laugh with the mask on, with that big old costume on, this creepy laugh, and the director decided to keep it. And they're like, oh yeah, we're keeping that shit. So that creepy laugh that you get, that's that little thing.
So what you're saying is Zazie actually knocks him out for fucking real. Which, by the way, how great is that? One, that the demon thief who is hiding in a dumpster, and two, that everyone cheers like crazy that Van knocked him the fuck out.
That shit was great. But again, it was so, again, to go back to like, it was just like, oh, because the black people are here, like we've got to like make them the stars of the show. And it was just so blatant, and it felt very just contrived and like unsettling, very Get Out-ish. And yeah, man, I think that's to add to your point. I think that's what makes this episode great. Is it's so like the uneasiness about everything. Well, fellas, we have another episode to do after this, but before we go, let's let people know where they can find you. Terry, where can people find you, man? Online, social media, shout it out.
For Instagram, you can find me at Terry F Photos, where once all this COVID stuff is over with, you can book me to be your photographer for private events, concerts, new headshots,
Terry,
whatever you want.
Terry, real quick, is that Terry F Photo or is that Terry Photo? Like serious question.
Terry, the letter F, then photos.
Okay, cool. I thought so, but I was like, all right, let's make sure.
Just want to make sure.
I want people hitting some random guy up.
They're like, I love you on Atlanta. He's like, what is going on? Oh, man. Jeff, where can people find you online?
Well, that was only one of Terry's. Terry, where else can they find you, man?
For Facebook, if you're looking for the hottest free events, whether it be concerts, movies, or just a liquor company giving out free booze, you can find us at Baller ATX. It's the letter A and then T and then X for Austin, Texas. And you can find us at Ballin' Mile High for the Denver area.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody coming on, tuning in. Jeff, did you shout yourself out? It was so mixed.
They can't find me anywhere.
It was so mixed in with
I'm
Terry's.
not anywhere. I'm not fucking anywhere. They can't find me. I'm a fucking introvert, including online. Blake, where can we find you?
Yeah, everybody go follow Unfiltered Bachelor, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow the show, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere podcasts are. That's where the show is. You guys want to follow me, reach out to me. Money Blake Weather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Feel free to email in the show, unfilteredbachelor@gmail.com. Any of your favorite moments from these episodes or any of the episodes coming up, we will go ahead and shout those out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon. I hope you're staying safe, staying corona-free. And until the next episode, we will see you. Peace.
Girl, what's your problem? 'Cause I know it's hard sometimes. Baby, just give me some time. Ooh, on and out, girl. We can solve them. If you just give me some time, I can open up your mind.